Hey there, it's Rolando with Global Tech, and over here to my left,
Over
I've
on the
got
side,
Dave.
you got Dave with Global Tech. How you doing today,
How
Rolando?
I'm doing fine. And what about you? How are you doing?
Doing good. Happy Friday.
Hey, yeah, it's Friday. You know, I love Fridays. And for those that are watching us live and happen to be watching this while it is a Friday, what a treat because you'll enjoy Fridays with us is at the same time. We're finishing off the hard work week for some of those that are working to the bone and getting ready to enjoy a little bit of the weekend. So I welcome you to our session today. You're in for a treat. We're going to talk about headsets, do's and don'ts. What are some of those issues that you're going to likely run into when having a headset? You know, Dave, a lot of people today have bought a bunch of headsets because of what happened in March
Mm,
with the pandemic, and a lot of folks are at home, and a lot of folks that are tuning in to us today are probably using a headset for the first time. So we're going to talk to those folks as well as probably some of those folks that are experienced and want to know what to do, how to maintain the headset because they are not, you know, pieces of steel that last forever and ever. But they can be prolonged, and you can prolong the life of the headset with some simple do's and don'ts that we're going to address here shortly.
yeah, right. Absolutely. So the brands themselves, they do make it tech. They provide upgrades within the technology itself. So there's some software upgrades that can keep the product up to snuff on that part. But today we're going to talk about some of the physical kind of wear and tear pieces that should certainly come in handy because the products themselves do last a long time. But hey,
Mm-hmm.
wear and tear items, they need to be replaced sometimes, right?
That's right, and just let the folks know. Off to my right, if you see this kind of white thing on the and behind me to my right is it's a little demo station that we've set up. So we're gonna throw it to there a little bit, where we're gonna show you exactly what's going on, how what to look for, and how to actually replace some of these things. And I know quite often we get questions both through customer service, online, chat, where customers may be trying to replace those spare parts, those cushions and those things on the headset, and they tear them up or they fall apart. And so we'll get to a little bit more on how to take care of that and how to do that properly. So what we're going to do today, we're going to jump into trivia in 1 second, Ori. But before we go to the trivia, I want to remind the folks that are tuning in today to like us, follow us, watch us live if you can every Friday at 1 p.m. We're going to be streaming to you on multiple platforms. We're on Amazon. If you're on Amazon, you get the benefit of seeing all the items we're featuring today. If you're not and you're on YouTube, Facebook, or one of the other channels, sit back, relax. You'll enjoy today's session, and you'll get more updates as we keep streaming through this platform. And we'd love to have you interact with us. We invite you to chat with us. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Are you tuning in from DC, New York, LA, or from around the world? So if you're live, hit us up. We'll give you a shout out on air. All right. So now, let's go to the trivia question because I actually really enjoyed looking at this information. I actually can't wait till we get to the answer because there was a lot of interesting things that I discovered once I uncovered the answer. So go ahead, Ori, roll the trivia question. Okay. In what year did headphones begin to be used? Let me repeat that again. What year did headphones begin to be used? You're going to be amazed when you find out the year, Dave. It was really fascinating to me researching this topic, and there's actually a couple more details we'll provide at the end.
Yeah, I know. I'm interested. I don't know if I would even have a great guess.
I'll give you this much. The headphones that were in use back in the day are nothing. The first original ones are nothing what you think of that we're using today. So we'll get to that as we roll through. All right. So let's jump right into it. So what we want to start with the do's and don'ts. One of the first things that you do when you're on a headset is you talk. And if you're a frequent user and you use this device, because that's what it is a device, and you use it regularly, you want to take care of it. So on a headset, there are really two important things that you need to know when using the headset that you want to take care of. The first is the microphone. And I happen to have a headset with me. This is the Evolve 265, which we're going to talk about later. Uh, as you can see, there's the um, the ear pads, and you have a microphone, and that's your basic headset. And in this case, this particular one, it doesn't have a windscreen on it. So one of the things that I recommend when you have a headset like this, and you don't have a windscreen on it, you may want to periodically take a look at the inside of the microphone, and that's where most of the sound comes in through, and see if you have any debris blocking. And that's going to be your first telltale sign when you have an issue. When people say, I'm hearing you a little bit off and you don't sound so good, you want to check that microphone. And I'm just going to slide back here. Oh, I had the tool right here. This is a little handy little brush. Let me see if I can bring it in focus. Handy little brush you can see that I have here. This brush is, or you can use a toothbrush, just kind of just knock it off. Because Dave, if you're like me or like you or others that are watching this, you probably are on the phone every day, right?
Every day,
Every day, and probably for hours at a time, maybe not contiguously, but hours through the day, right? And that talk and that all that wind and all those particles tend to clog that microphone. And over time, and this doesn't happen right away, over time, that microphone can get clogged and people can't hear you very well.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And I find it sometimes with the microphone, it could just be dust that would collect over a period of time. I think a lot of folks out there might experience this on their telephones because their telephones maybe are coming in and out of their pocket so often that just a little bit of dust over a period of time that might kind of get stuck within the charging port. I find sometimes even on my charging port, I need to kind of get something to knock it out. But just the other day on my microphone, I had someone saying that I sounded a little bit muffled, and it was such a small amount, but I was able to clean it out and it made a huge improvement to the sound quality that I was pushing through.
And while you were saying that, I'm going to swing over here to our close-up cam.
All right.
We're going to give that bad boy a try so that people can see it a little bit better. So let me go over there. Ori,
All
Dave,
right, what's he
can you
doing?
still hear me?
Yeah, we
You
can
still
hear
hear
you
me?
loud. Yeah, loud
Okay,
and clear. We
perfect.
can hear you.
So let me show the folks what we're talking about. So when we've got, and Ori's going to swing me back over to the live stream. Oh, there we go. Or if you can, well, he's got my back. There we go. This is live TV, folks, so you can't script all of this. So Ori's going to bring in the close-up cam, and
Looks like
see,
it's
looks like
loading up.
it looks like it's having a little bit of issue. So all right, it's all right, Ori. We can swing back to our regular shot while you try to get that feedback to us. Okay, not to worry. So things like that happen. Sometimes you rehearse these things and they work, and sometimes they don't. So we'll just let Ori keep working on that. So, anyways, the microphone, it's got the ability to. What were you saying, Ori? You want to say something? Got you. All right. Okay. No, we'll come back to that. All right. So microphones. So yes, you want to take a look at that. And as we talk about the microphones come in different shapes and sizes. And I've got a couple of different headsets to show you here. This is obviously the Jabra Evolve2. It's a Bluetooth type headset. This is a different kind of headset. You can see the microphone has a protrusion on it. And usually those come when you have a corded headset. In this case, it's a USB type of headset or a corded headset. You will have usually a microphone windscreen. And we sell those, and we have those featured, right, Dave? We have them featured in our Amazon stream. If you're watching Amazon,
Yep,
you
we do.
highlighting
So
those?
we have these available in a 2-pack, and then we also have this 10-pack here. So I'm highlighting the 10-pack for all to see because, hey, 10 are better than 2.
Right. And if in the current situation we're in, where a lot more folks are indoors and try to keep safe distance and probably on their headsets way more, having some of these available, some spares of these is pretty handy, especially if you're on the phone quite a bit. It's a very cheap investment. One, it'll protect your microphone really well, and two, it's a good way to prevent from that microphone getting clogged. And third, and most importantly, if you're in a work environment where maybe you're sharing headsets or you're all close together, it's always good to try to swap these out, right? So this is the windscreen that's on there. It's very easy to remove, right? And over time, like I said, all of those things will get clogged and debris. And so it's a very cheap way, very effective way of keeping your headset not only clean, your microphone clean, but also more sanitary, and also from a sanitation perspective, so that whatever debris is coming out of your mouth, saliva, and it's not a very pretty topic to talk about, Dave, but it's something that's important. And I think a lot of people that are new to headsets may think, well, I don't ever really need to do anything to this. I don't really need to change it. But what we would recommend, at least once a month, maybe change one of these out, and we sell them by the 10 pack. So this will take you about 10 months. Or if you're a more frequent user and you're finding that you've got a lot more debris on your windscreen, you probably want to switch that out maybe every other week.
And it's just nice having something clean, it's so close to our head, so close to our face, so close to our mouth. You may or may not hear or see a difference, but I think a lot of the germs and whatnot, you're not going to see them. So it's just a peace of mind of knowing that whatever you have this close to your mouth, it's so fresh and so clean.
You got that right. And so I wanted to also highlight another type of headset, and just to also go back to the listing, Ori, for me, because this is actually one of our better selling items on Amazon today. The 10-pack windscreen. It does cover a variety of headsets, and I want to point out that if you have a headset that is not listed on this particular listing that we're highlighting, you can always, if you're on Amazon, hit us up with a question or an inquiry. You can actually submit a question to the community there. There's over 42 answered questions, at least on this particular listing. And if it does, all of these questions, by the way, get filtered to our team of wonderful tech support people that have been trained. Many of them train hundreds of hours of collectively a year on different items, headsets, headphones, with all the manufacturers that we work with, all the different headset suppliers. And we're well versed on things that are even not listed on this product listing. So I invite you, if you've got your question, we don't have your particular headset listed, send us an inquiry, and we'll be glad to investigate that and make sure that this particular item is compatible for your headset.
Yeah, and also,
go ahead, Dave.
sorry, and I just wanted to add that I think that there have been some folks out there that have tested these on products that we originally didn't have listed. Maybe we just hadn't had a chance to test every headset, so we've learned that this has actually been a replacement for products that really we weren't even considering when we had put it out.
And that's the beauty of an Amazon community, especially when you have, in this case, over 400 reviews. It's almost a 5-star. So a lot of folks do find that this particular type of product is well worth getting. So it's well rated. And we do have some folks that get it for the particular headset that is not listed on here, or one that we haven't looked at. But I invite you to, if you've got something again that's not listed on here, let us know, or put the question here on the Amazon listing, and somebody within the community, if it's not us, and we usually tend to answer those questions, we'll reach out to you and say, yeah, we've looked at that and it's perfectly fine, or no. So I invite you to go ahead and do that. So, and the other thing, go ahead, Dave. You were going to say something?
And I think one of the thumbnails that we have on the listing shows the dimensions and some close-ups of the product.
Yes, it sure does. I think it's the second image, Ori.
Perfect. Yeah. So if someone out there wants to, they don't, we may not have an answer to your question if it will fit, but if you can take a look at the dimensions and the penny for reference, it'll give you a better idea if it would fit your product that we haven't tested it on.
Right. And so one of the things that I've found, Dave, especially with windscreens, is that there's really 3 types of headsets where we would see variations, and we don't have a ton of different types of windscreens out there that we
Mm.
sell, and that's because a lot of headsets tend to fall in a small range of sizes. So, and that's why I'm showing different headsets right now. So I'm going to pick up another headset. This is a BlueParrott headset. And by the way, Ori, do we have the close cam or not? Are we still down with that? Is it down? Okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, we'll come back to that later then. Uh, so something like a BlueParrott, this is a very big seller for a lot of folks that drive, that are drivers, that are in warehouses. Um, and I've been prior to March of this year, I've been in a bunch of Ubers or Lyft, and I've seen a lot of this. This is a BlueParrott headset.
Yeah.
It was their original product that they came out with, and a lot of drivers are using simply because it's a really good headset in terms in the cost. It's we have it listed at $99. I don't know if we have it on the Amazon carousel, but you can find it if you go to our store. And we'll come back to that and show our store in a moment. But what I'm trying to show you here is that on the microphone, you've got a bare microphone. And I've seen it even in the times I've talked to folks that were driving, they left it bare, and I've said, hey, I see that. I know we sell that headset. How do you like it? Da, da, da. And they say, like it, but I can't really, people are starting to complain they can't hear me. And I asked them inevitably, hey, that headset that doesn't have that microphone that you have there, do you know when was the last time you put a windscreen on it? Because we ship them with, if you buy our Global Tech bundle, they'll ship with an extra pair at no extra charge. So we bundle it, and they will say, well, that was like a year and a half ago, or two, or sometimes more, 5 years ago. And I said, you really ought to take a look at that microphone. It may be clogged, and when you can, pick up some of these. It's a really cheap thing. It's much cheaper than buying another headset, right? And I'm going to just try to slide it on here. Bring up the ISO. There we go. And as you can see, I'm going to put this on this one. And this microphone obviously is in a different shape, a different configuration than the one I was holding up earlier,
Hmm.
right? But there's a range that these windscreens will accommodate. Obviously, and I'm going to be harsh first, just so that you can see me rip it. If you are a little bit nervous about something, about using these, don't be. What I would advise you is to, you see, if I really pull on it, they rip, right? And folks have commented on that in the past. And what I would say is, you know what? If you want to, do this, we're going to get to the Earpads a little bit later. Take a couple deep breaths, all right? Slow down for just 30 seconds or a minute. I know that life all throws us all kinds of curveballs, but with this, maybe you just want to slow down a little bit. And I just want to point out that on the BlueParrott, it has a side on it. You can't really see it because our close-up cam is down, but it has one side that says talk, and the other side does not say anything. The side that says talk would be the side that's facing your mouth. So that's the side that you want to do, because that's the other thing we've gotten. I know, Dave, that people say, I replaced my windscreens and nobody can hear me now. And with these, if you essentially do this, which is essentially what some folks have inadvertently done, the talk side, because it rotates,
Sure.
it's rotated away from your mouth. So now, if you're wearing this headset, you can see if it's rotated away from your mouth, it's not going to pick up, your voice very well. That's like me talking here from the side of this microphone. You're not going to pick me up too well if I'm over here. That's the same idea when you're wearing a headset. You want to know the side that's active. And to some folks, it may seem very intuitive, but you won't believe how many emails we get from folks that say, I changed the windscreen and I can't hear, nobody can hear me now. And generally, hey, let's take a look at that. What kind of headset do you have? All that, and oh yeah, I put it in, and it turned out that the microphone wasn't pointing to my mouth properly. So I'm going to try to go ahead and just put that over here and just slide it on here. Now, with the BlueParrott line, if you happen to be a fan of the BlueParrott headset, on the new series of BlueParrott, as you can see, if oh, there we go. That's a good shot. On here, it's just very smooth. It's a very smooth microphone end. On the newer versions that they've just released this year, I'm gonna pull this windscreen and I'm trying to pull on it, and you can see it stays on there because it has a raised edge. I got to really really pull it out of here because it won't leave. Ah, there we go. Let's see if it'll autofocus. There we go.
Yep.
Over here, you have these raised edges, kind of barbed. They're not sharp where they're going to cut you or anything, but they're raised to keep the windscreens from moving away from your mouth or sliding off. And that's really meant, again, this headset, the BlueParrott series, is designed for folks that are on the phone, on their mobile, on the go all the time. So one of the comments they got was that this stuff slides off too easily, these windscreens. And in the newer, let's see, there we go. In the newer microphones, in the new headsets they released this year, they improved the microphones to have that edge there. So it doesn't, and I thought it was genius move on their part to do something like that so that you don't lose them. And sometimes you may pick up a windscreen where the windscreen's too big, right? And that raised edge is all the world of difference and makes the users much happier.
So what we're learning here is on these microphones, as folks are putting on new pieces, they may change the configuration, they might put it on the other side of the head. That microphone positioning is vital. It's also what keeps a lot of that background noise out. So these are directional microphones. If that is not close enough to the mouth, and if it's certainly facing the wrong way, you won't get the same experience. So it's probably not the microphone windscreen itself. It's probably just that you need to rotate that so it's directed to the voice. That's exactly how they're supposed to work. And with that newer design, it's once that's off, you have a visual so you can actually see, oh, this is the end that I should be talking into. This other end is the back of it, and that's designed. It's designed to be that way.
So I like that's a really good tip, Dave, that you're mentioning, because I think, and I've got the headphone here because I've got this so just to illustrate, and I want to be able to hear you. So now I look a little funky, but I'm doing this on purpose because what we find, and prior to COVID, when we would go to different call centers, one of the things that we would see, and obviously this is just for illustration purposes, it doesn't necessarily have to be this particular BlueParrott headset, but a lot of times you're just walking in a call center and you see somebody using a headset like this, where the microphone is away. And one of the reasons and when asking people, especially in a call center, why do you have your boom so far away? And they say, well, because I want to drink my coffee, right? And this is what happens, right? You end up dunking it. And you wouldn't believe how, and if you're watching this today and you're like, oh, that's crazy. Well, who would do that? A lot of people end up going to the coffee or tea or water, whatever, whoop, and it gets on them. So they tend to wear it away from their mouth. Now what happens, the biggest problem, and sometimes people don't remember to bring it back in the right position, and you get customers complaining, or other times it's way out of position. I've seen folks wear headsets like this, and I'm sure if you've watched any amount of TV than the last couple of months with people wearing headsets, they'll be wearing it like this, because these are also new users. They'll be wearing it like this. They'll be wearing it like this. And it's all because of, they just don't understand, especially with the newer technology. These microphones, especially like the BlueParrott, they're really made to point towards the crease area, somewhere right around in here in your mouth. And the further away you put it away, whether it's up or down, the less likely people are going to hear you. And the perfect example is if, like with the microphone, if I move way over here, you're probably going to hear a lot less of me than if I'm right here. And it seems so obvious, and it's just something worth mentioning because a lot of folks, it doesn't sometimes always sink in how critical it is in terms of the audio quality that the other side is listening to. Right, Dave?
Yeah, all good things, all good things. The other thing I wanted to point out is if the microphone is a little further away from your mouth and your customer can't hear you, you start talking louder. You're adding more noise to your environment. Now, if you're in a home office, it's a home office. But if you're within a group of people and everyone is not paying attention to microphone positioning, then everyone starts talking much louder. And now you're making your work environment more difficult for everyone involved, the reps and also customers alike.
I agree. And I think that one of the things that I'm looking at a question here. Ori, do you have that question? The question that's and it's in our sheet there. All right, there it is. Question that came in: why would I need to replace the foam windscreen on my headset? Shouldn't the headset work without it? And what are windscreens for? It's a really good question, Dave.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't think they necessarily need it. What it does for our sound, there's a lot of pop to a T, so it's like the T's and the P's. When you're using those, if you have a nice windscreen, it just helps to soften that down so it's not as sharp when you're talking. So a lot of it, or some of it, relates around just how you're pronouncing words and how you're pushing out those words and what you're trying to say. And then, of course, the sanitary reasons. Headsets will come on and off depending on your work environment. I know a lot of the drivers that I work with, they take it and they throw it in the back, they throw it next to them. Hey, we vacuum our cars, we change our shirts, we change our sheets. Why wouldn't you want to change something that's so close to your body? So I think that's a valid question. It's not necessary. You can be unsanitary if you want, and you can sound subpar if you want. But if you want to be sanitary, if you want to be clean, and if you want to sound your best, it's a good idea to have some extra windscreens.
Yeah, and also what they're not for. I think that what are they for? We've seen comments where folks think it's going to cancel out the background noise, and it can have some of those properties, but that's not the primary reason a windscreen should be put on a microphone, or if you're buying it with the intent, because some of the comments that we get over time, the same. Well, I thought this would filter out some noise, and it's more designed to filter out movement of air, like your breath, or if you're exhaling, more than say the cat that's meowing in the background or the dog that's barking. If you're really having a problem and you're struggling with noise canceling, meaning that the folks you're talking to hear all that background noise, then it's more of a headset issue than the actual microphone issue with the windscreen. Isn't that right, Dave?
That's right. And you know what? I was kind of smirking. I was on a call the other day, and there was 3 people on the call, and I kept hearing the silent party breathing heavily through his microphone. And I guess I wasn't thinking so much the windscreen. I don't know what he was using. He may not have even been on a headset. I don't know. But that breathing, nobody wants to hear that. Very distracting.
I know it could be very annoying, and that's why we're doing this stream, because we want to educate people. We want to let them know, hey, you've made an investment. If you bought something like this, you probably paid close to $200 or more, or even $100. Let's get you in a position so that you sound your best and that people like what they're hearing. So that's our motto: sound better, sound better, sell more. So if we can help you sound better, you're going to have customers that are going to enjoy the experience, whatever you're talking about, whether you're on a Zoom call, you're on Teams, you're on the phone, anything like that. The better people hear you, the less they have to strain to hear you, the more likely you take a barrier away from something that does something's just bothering me and I don't know what it is. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's the audio that's coming through. And so we want to help you sound better whenever you're engaging with folks on the other line, whether it be on a PC or a phone. All right. So let's oh yes. So let's do this, Ori. Let's put up the page with our Global Tech accessories because we have a whole bunch of windscreens that we want to showcase that are on there. So if you happen to be watching us again on Amazon, you have the benefit of watching and seeing um, all of the different products that we're featuring today, the lineup. And if you're not, you're on one of the other platforms, we'll have links posted at the bottom for you. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'll have links for you there as well so that you can. And we also have a shop on Facebook as well. So let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit on that page, Ori. And Uri is our third man in the cloud. He's helping us direct all of this stuff, helping us with the graphics and the sites and making sure that you get to see everything that we see on our end as well. So yeah, we've got several different cushions and they're all in different windscreens and kits. They're all designed for different things. And if you happen to be, and it's just hold that one there, go just slightly up, Ori. If you happen to be someone that has multiple people that work with you, or you happen to purchase for an enterprise, we have those windscreens that we were highlighting as a subscribe and save so that you can get a regular cadence of these shipped to you from Amazon. So you won't have to worry about having to go back in and buy. You could just go ahead and subscribe and save, and Amazon will ship these out to you on the cadence and frequency that you choose. So that's, I think, a really cool feature. If you're really a power, call that a power user, and you want to make sure you get this particular item sent to you on an interval. So we have that on our accessories page on Amazon. We have plenty of those, and I see we've got the Prime badge. So in some cases, Dave, Amazon now, if you give them permission, they'll put a package in your garage or in your car, in the trunk of your car, if you've got one of the cars that they support on the app for that. So not like a lot of people at work right now, they may be at home, but if maybe you're away for a few days and you want to have your items not sit in the rain, or if you happen to be a part of the country right now that's getting snow or will be getting snow, that's kind of a cool feature to have if you're a Prime member.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize that they were doing that yet. I'd heard that they were looking to explore new delivery options, and that's nice. Especially right now. There's a story every day about someone. What do they call them? Porch pirates. Um,
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the guy walk. I don't think the person pirating at your windscreens will be very impressed with what they found that day.
They'll be
Um,
like, where's that $500 camera or $1,000 camera, right? Or the webcam.
but joking aside, not a lot of folks not a lot of folks are selling these spare parts, and I'm glad that we do, because it's an important part to what we're trying to provide to people.
Agreed.
Um, and
Agreed.
I'll tell you, it's nice when you put on a new pair of ear cushions. I'm probably due for round two on these, but I
Right.
know that we have some of these that we're highlighting here, and we're also working on creating some new for some of the newer headsets that have come out,
Oh yeah,
aren't we?
yep. Those are going to be released in Q1. We have a whole new slew of kits. We've had in the last since March really, and more users. There's way more headset users out there around the world. The demand for spare parts like these cushions, like these earpads, has increased dramatically, and um, and in some cases, not only have we run out, but the manufacturers have run out. So we have exactly. Thank you, Ori. Yes, we have new replacement kits coming in 2021. Stay tuned. More to come. We're gonna have a lot more headsets that you'll be able to use these spare parts for. And one of the things that I noticed, Dave, is that some of these can be used interchangeably. And one of the
Hmm.
things that I wanted to highlight was, Ori, if you could take it back to the accessories page, this windscreen that I'm going to show you in a second, um, and scroll down. I don't know if it should be on there. So we have two. There we go. So the one right there we go. That's the one that I have got in my hand. It's really designed more for microphones that are a little bit larger, like your headphones. There we go. Thank you for taking it there. Yep. For headphones, you can see it's a little more oval shape. It's wider, so it's going to fit around a bigger microphone. And one of the things that we have found is that there's a really large community of gamers. And also, let me hold this up so you can get a contrast between the two. This one is the gaming one. You can see how it's taller, and this is the one for your more traditional headset. Okay. The gaming one is taller and a little bit more oval. Ori, can you highlight some of those headphones that are on there? So if you've got a Turtle Beach type of headset, the Recon, you've got a Microsoft headset. I see Logitech on there. Also, this one's, we have really good feedback. It's almost a 5-star, nearly a 5-star. I wish we could get just over the line to give it a full 5-star, but I'll take it. 4.2, 4.3, 4. It's good. It's really hard. Dave, you've been doing this with me for a while. You know how hard it can be to get customers to agree on how good a product can be, because people can be very critical if it doesn't work, or if it's lower quality kind of product. The customers tell you this is junk, and quite frankly, this is not. We've spent and invested quite a bit of time to make sure we get high quality spare parts for you. So things like the Sadies and the Logitech Prodigy, the Koshin series of headphones, those are all going to work with this more geared for the gamers and folks that want to have a cushion that will work on their headphones. And the headphones tend to have a bigger microphone, kind of like what I was showing earlier with the Jabra. Here's kind of the profile of it. You see that it just has a much bigger profile on the microphone. The housing for the microphone is much bigger. So you need a little bit bigger windscreen in order to accommodate that. All right. And so Dave, you were talking about Earpads.
Yes.
Earpads. So Earpads are probably, I don't know, which one's more important? I think both of them are equally important, but you always want something comfortable on your head. And over time, if whether you're using a headset, and I've actually modified my Evolve 265 to put the foam on them. Let me see if I can bring it into focus. There we go. And you could see, and I've been using this now only for a month, and you could see how it collects, dust and debris.
Yeah.
In just using it just a month. Look at that bad boy here. Look at that. So that's not terrible, but you could see that that's just a month of usage. This is a fairly new headset, so I've been testing it out quite a bit. These will get used. They'll get worn out. So over time, you'll want to replace those. Let me just take that off. And the other thing that you would want to take a look at if you're replacing those, this speaker housing is actually quite clean. It's not too bad, but in here, we want to obviously brush any debris, if you can, away from there, because your audio experience is dependent on that. And if you've got a really grimy looking speaker, your audio experience and your audio quality is definitely going to go down. You're not going to enjoy that quality sound that you got when you first got that headset. And we've got several different cushions designed for different headsets. And one of the ones that I want to contrast and show you. So that one you can't really see any of the backing once you put the Earpad, but something like this is a BlueParrott one, where you do have this little felt that's on there that's meant to also catch debris. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, see now that one, and when you zoom in, there we go. It covers the speaker. It's actually really well designed, because underneath this housing is another extra layer of protection meant to protect the speaker housing, so that you'll have a less likelihood, or the likelihood, it's Friday, so I'm having trouble talking today. The likelihood of debris getting in there is very low. But for the folks that use this type of headset that are in outdoors or in environments, they've kind of made it that way, so that if you're outdoors quite a bit, or you're in environments that's a little more dusty, it's going to keep that debris away, but you still want to use something to go over that. And this particular one had a leather, and you can always, on the kits, by the way, some of them come with the option of wearing them in both styles. Look at that. See, you picked up some dust there. You can go with the leatherette and the foam. And it's just a preference thing. I find the leatherette a little bit more comfortable, It has some memory foam in there, so if you use it quite a bit, the leatherette is always a useful thing. And you'll find that your audio experience will just last.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. You want to say something?
So I'm highlighting one of the kits down below. This is for the BlueParrott B450. So with this kit, we include two of the leatherettes, two of the foam, and a few, looks like four of the microphone windscreens. Sometimes it's a seasonal thing. In the summertime, I like to have the foam. For me, it just kind
Ah,
of keeps me a little more comfortable. In the wintertime, I mean, I love how the leatherette feels, and then what I really like about the leatherette is that it does have that layer of mesh, as you were just showing with your close-up, Rolando. It has the mesh that kind of also keeps stuff out. But some folks aren't sure what they want, so buy a kit that has the different options there. You might find that it's a seasonal thing. They certainly won't go to waste. And you know what? Visually, you may look at it and say, "Well, it doesn't look too bad." We're human beings, and things do get dirty. We have days. Most of us will wash our hands way too many times a day. We wash our hair, we wash our clothes, we change our pillowcases. I'll tell you, it's really nice to have something clean to throw on there. But so it could just be a weather thing because we create heat, and they the leatherette and the foam, they react different to different types of users in different climates. So
I, I,
it's a good idea to have both of them on hand.
you know what? I did not think about that. That the heat as well as the weather do impact that,
Mm,
and it's a preference. Obviously, if you're in a more humid environment like Florida or on the East Coast, your wearing experience is going to be different than probably folks that are on the West Coast, where it's less humid, and the just the moisture is not going to play a role as much as it would if you were on the East Coast or obviously in the Southeast, where it's definitely more humid. I wanna also show our folks something that are watching us with the earpad. We're gonna change one live. Um, Here's an earpad that where it's meant to be snug. So I'm taking this one off. So this is one of our 10 packs for earpads. This is our. Let me look at on our page. Do we have that there? I know we have it somewhere in there. 10 pack, 10 pack foam earpads. If you could put that one up, Ori. And as he's working on getting that up on the screen, uh, this particular headset, which is a Plantronics headset, those 10 packs are meant to be used with a variety of headsets again. And I thought I had, and I'm going to swing around over here to see if I had one of those spare ones. Do not. I thought I did, but I don't. Just look over here. Nope, I don't. I don't have one of those with me. Uh, they will work on a number of headsets as well. The earpads keep you, again, it'll keep your listening audio experience at an optimal level. And sometimes things go out of stock, and we may have other items that you can use. Point example is what I was going to say was this Plantronics 251N. This particular headset's been on the market for a long time, for many years. It's actually one of Plantronics' better sellers. So if you're watching, you're probably familiar with that. When we discover things from customer comments and feedback, a customer let us know, hey, you're completely out of this, or a while back ago it was kind of hard to get things from China into the U.S. And so we got creative and we looked around and we decided to see what could we do to get this headset working again. And one of the things that by just looking at it, you could see that this should work. But what happens is if you look at this opening, the circumference of this opening, it's much bigger than this earpad. So one of the things that we've found is that if you are, again, getting back to being in a hurry, this will rip. Now, these are meant to stretch, so I'm gonna put this guy on here live, and you will see that it takes a little bit of time. So if you're using one of these foam Earpads, go ahead, take your time, grab a beverage, take a couple deep breaths, and just work your way around, around, and around. And now you've got an Earpad. Let me get that off of there. There we go. You have an Earpad that now is on there.
Like a glove.
Like
Like
a
a
glove.
glove.
Now, I'm going to show you what happens if you go too fast. And you're like, wow, I got to get this on there. So, I'm going to just grab another one. The same one that I just, well, not the exact same one, but just another similar one. And I'm going to try to kind of go a little bit fast on here. And if I go fast and I'm like, I'm in a hurry, I just got to get this on here. Oops. Look at that. It tears. And lo and behold, you're a little bit upset because you're like, oh my God, these guys, what did they sell me? And and it's not that you got something sold that doesn't work. But in some cases, you're going to find that the sizes of the speakers or the housing that are around the speakers are a little bit different. So just as illustrate, this is the guy I was just holding. And then this guy. They're close, but not exactly the same. And because that, I'll just point another one. Here, you can see this one. This is the BlueParrott. Look at that one. This one's kind of oval. Yeah, it's oval. But you could still put something that's round on it because these things are made to stretch around the back. Now, let me show you what the back looks like. On some of these, the back has a material that stretches like that. Sometimes it's braided, right? And the braiding is and this one, as you can see, this one was on the B350 from earlier. You can see it has a different shape. But in the end, what you want is something that can fit. And just by taking your time with it. What's the name of that guy that used to draw? He's no longer alive. He used to draw the trees. He was on PBS, and he'd be brush the tree and the cloud. And
Yeah, why
was his
why
name
would
Russ?
No, I thought it was Bob something.
That's who
He had a great afro.
What was his name, Ori? What is it? Bob Ross? Bob Ross.
Bob
Yes.
Ross.
Every time I would tune into Bob, and not that I watched him regularly, but when I'd seen him, it's just, the guy's like on cloud nine. Just, here's a tree. Do brush. And we'll put a bird over here. And another little happy tree. Channel some of that when you're trying to get your ear, especially your Earpads. The windscreens are much more straightforward. But on the Earpads, I would highly advise to channel your inner Bob Ross. If you don't know who he is, and you're one of the kids, Ori, I'm surprised you can't hear Ori if you're in the audience, but Ori's in the back in the cloud. He's the one that shouted in my ear, Bob Ross, and he's probably half my age, and he knew who he was, right? And so if you're one of those don't know who he was, look him up, Google him. Bob Ross, man, what a guy. Rest in peace, Bob Ross. Big ups. Okay, so let's talk about, Dave, the products that will help people to be on the phone, be on their Zoom calls, be on chats, be interacting, and avoid what I was showing you earlier, where you get the oops moment, where you get the cup in the microphone, and now you've got a bad microphone. We have found a collection of headsets from one of the manufacturers that we work with that really helps in that effort, so that you can easily remove and continue to hear, and at the same time mute yourself. Because what good is it if you, I'm just going to grab this BlueParrott again. If you're talking here on this headset and all of a sudden you go to drink, and let's see, let's do it this way. You go to drink, maybe you flip it out, and then you're guzzling it, and people are hearing that slurping sound that your throat makes. Or
Gross.
I don't have any snacks with me right now, but or you happen to be snacking, and we're all working from home today, and if you're on the road, sometimes you're eating and on the run, and it doesn't sound so pleasant when you're and sometimes you have to do it because you're like, I've gone all day and I haven't eaten, and I just need a burger or chips or whatever you happen to grab, and you're talking to somebody, or they call you in the middle of that, and you're like in full chumping mode. And that's what I was talking about earlier. The headsets that I was using for the last month, I really love the Evolve2 series, which we're also going to be highlighting. Or Dave, you've got those highlighted as well?
Yep, I'm going to put these up down below right now. The Evolve2 65 monaural in black with a dongle.
Right. So what this does, and if you go to on the 65 and 85, we may even have some videos on different listings where the microphone on this is an intelligent microphone. And so the microphone not only moves out of the way when you're talking, it also mutes at the same time when you flip it away from your face. So if you're wearing the 65, the 40, 65, and 85 have all the 40 has the intelligent mic, right? Is that correct, Dave?
It does. Yep.
All right. So all three models, the 40, the 65, and the 85 have an intelligent mic, so that when you flip it up, so let me rotate it. So this is the talking position, and you flip it up, it mutes. So if you're happen to be in mid chomp, right, and you get a call, you can answer the call, right, and then whoop, you can finish your chomp. Nobody's hearing you. You put it back down, and then when you're ready to go, boom, it's action time. People can hear you right clearly with the audio, and then you got to take another slurp. Nobody hears that, and then when you're ready, it tells you you're unmuted. Mute on, mute off. So
I can actually
it's
demo
a really
that. So
slick, cool feature.
It's an awesome
Big
feature.
props to the folks at Jabra and Copenhagen and whoever else contributed on the design. You did a really good job on the Evolve2 series. Big compliments to you guys on that. And again, that's on the 40 and the 85 as well. Those products are all geared a little bit different for different users. You're going to say something, Dave?
Yeah, so I'm using a Jabra Evolve 75.
Oh,
So
you
this
can
is
show them.
a previous gen. This is the audio that we're using right now. So this is the microphone. This is my beverage. Maybe you can hear that.
I can hear it.
Maybe you can't. So if I am middle call, I want to. And now I'm back. So no one heard how delicious I felt that ice cold New Hampshire spring water was.
Right.
And it's good up here. It's good from the well. But it is a nice feature. When I put my microphone up, it gives me a tone letting me know that I'm muted. So it's that user feedback. So I'm confident that I won't embarrass myself, and I know that the Evolve2 also, when you flip that up, it gives the user feedback. It says, I think it actually might say the word muted on the call. So that's nice. I'll demonstrate that one more time. I'm going to keep talking.
Awesome. I love it.
And then I put it back down.
I love it. And if you happen to be watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you have the opportunity to watching several demos of that that we've done in our previous streams. So, and they're time stamped on our YouTube channel, so you'd be able to go back and see those demos of that being done. And we've actually done other demos looking at the noise canceling on that as well. But yeah. I absolutely loved that. And it's one of those things, the smallest things, Dave, the fact that just flipping up the boom mutes the call, or mutes so that nobody hears you, makes just a little bit of your world or your life just a little bit easier, rather than I've got to deal with this, and how do I? And where's the mute button? You're looking for a mute
Exactly.
button, maybe on the computer if you're using it with the computer or your mobile phone. And it just makes that just like flip up, mute, drink, or take a snack. I know I've done it many times now with this headset. I'm in mid web call or a Zoom call, and all of a sudden, somebody else is talking, and then I'll just flip it up, and I'll take a bite of something, and I'll put it back down, and wait for my turn to speak. And it just makes it easier. Nobody needs to know that I'm having lunch, or if it's late at night, because we have colleagues that are on the other side of the world that work with us in the middle of the night. They don't need to know that I'm having dinner.
And back to the topic. So it's helpful that it mutes the call, but again, it keeps it away from the food or the drink that you're putting into your mouth. A comfortable headset, you'll forget that you're wearing it. And, sticking food into the microphone isn't going to help it. So being able to have that flexibility of moving it is nice. Not all headsets have that feature.
They sure don't. So, Ori, why don't you go ahead and um, put up the Evolve 285 page, just to show folks. This is also a very cool headset. I don't have it here to show you in the studio or in my home, which is where we're all filming right now. But it's a really good headset. It also has not only the ability to flip up, it tucks away, and we have a video on that page. It tucks away. This is really geared for folks that are on their computer. They want to hear music in between their calls. Or you're working or your workday, you want to stream your Pandora or whatever else. It streams in through a very rich audio. Thanks for putting that up, Ori. It is an unbelievable headset. It is also a headset. We've used it as well. I've used it for gaming purposes. You just need to make sure that if you're using a gaming console, you plug it in into the USB port, so that you can use it for gaming purposes. It's not highlighted here in this market parting video, but you could use it for that purpose. It cuts out an amazing amount of background noise. So it's on par with the more expensive uh, type of headphones that are only noise canceling headphones. This one has noise canceling not only in the ears so that it's blocking out that background noise, but it also has a microphone that also filters out noise. And I believe it has 10 microphones built in
Yep.
so that it can do a couple of other things besides just filter out that background noise. You can also, when you have the headphones on, you can press a button and it now is listening to outside volume. So like if you have a young one and they're sleeping and you want to keep an eye, sometimes the noise canceling is too good in that you can't hear much around you. With a press of a button, it also points the microphones outward so that it's bringing in sound. Let's say you have a young one that's sleeping or something else you're trying to keep track of. You actually are more aware of that. So that's a feature you can toggle on and off. And with the Jabra Sound app, you're able to customize this even further. They really took a cue from their Elite 85H, which is this is what this platform, this new headphones is built on. And as you can see, it's a really clean, crisp design. It's got the LEDs to indicate that you're on a call, so if you're at home or anywhere else and you happen to be in the office and you're watching this and it's maybe 6 months from now and you're back in the office working with folks, it lets them know that you shouldn't be bothered because of the LEDs on the front and the back. They will light up as you're seeing here on the screen. One other thing that's really cool about this headset is that the charging mechanism is different. It is designed to be charged by just dropping it in this base rather than sticking it in a charger, where the pins may fray over time. That's one of the biggest problems with wireless headsets, Bluetooth headsets, is that the charging port is always the USB port. In this case, you have the way of two ways of charging it. You could charge it by dropping it into the base, or you can use the USB cable to charge it up. Either way. And so you got a headset that's built to last and super comfortable. And I think very sleek. That boom tucking away for those folks that are going to be interacting, whether you're gaming or you're talking to somebody, but you don't want that boom in there as you're walking around or you're traveling or whatever. folks want to look good, right? You want to look good on a headset. If you've spent almost
Absolutely.
$500, right? You want a good looking headset. So that boom just tucks away, so it's not in the way, and it's virtually invisible. And nobody knows that there's a microphone there or one to get in the way.
Yeah, that is a handsome product. I don't know if there's other manufacturers that do that sort of wireless charging. Jabra's certainly known for a lot of industry firsts, so good job, Jabra.
Awesome, awesome. So let's do this. We're almost at time right now. Let's unless there was something else, Dave, that you wanted to discuss regarding this particular headset.
No, I think we should move on.
All right, I'm excited to reveal. Ori, you ready? We're going to reveal our trivia question, right? So go ahead and put it up. What year did headphones begin to be used? Drum roll.
Sometime in the 80s.
Oh, in the 80s.
Whoa, I was right.
You 80s, but in the 1800s, 1881 was as far back as we could find. And the picture that you're looking at there, and it's really hard to find a really good image from the 1800s, but what you're looking at is both ladies that are wearing this are literally wearing this as a harness.
Wow.
So if you're somebody, if you can picture like a cameraman almost, and they've got in like an outdoor scene, maybe they have a camera that's strapped to their body, or in like sporting events, that's even more common, and they've got a camera strapped to their body. This is what's going on here. On the one hand, you've got the receiver, which is what they literally have on their shoulder. It's sitting on their shoulder and on their left shoulder, and on the right is the microphone is housed in a box. Now, altogether, this whole harness apparatus weighs almost 10 pounds. 10 pounds. And they were used by mostly operators, and these women had a hard time. From the articles that I was reading, some of them would have to actually work out to build up their back muscles to be able to do this all day long. Imagine 10 pounds. And I'm sure that
10
a lot
pounds.
of parents would sympathize, because as babies get to around 10 pounds or more, just holding them in your arms for a little bit of time, Dave, holding a baby that's 10 pounds, 11 pounds, holding them in your arms for a while, you get tired. Imagine having to do
Absolutely.
that all day long
On your shoulder.
on your shoulder. You imagine all the pain. Woo. And so headsets have come a long way since the 1800s. And I believe in 1910 was the first patent in the U.S. I think it was Nathaniel Baldwin was the first person in the U.S. to have it patented. So headphones were patented, and he made it more modern, closer to what we know nowadays as headphones. Very close to the style that you're wearing, Dave, and that I'm wearing. Definitely wasn't the thing. And here's the thing: when he came out with this new design for headphones it was 1909,
Yeah.
he couldn't find any clients for it. The only ones that wanted it was the U.S. Navy, and so they bought 100 from him, and he made them all in his kitchen.
Wow.
Yep. So that's a little bit of history, and there's a lot more, but I don't want to bore those that are not interested in headphone history. But that's a little bit of history on the headphones today. So the other thing we wanted to announce, we did have a winner for those that were tuning in on our last stream. We gave away an EPOS 30 from Sennheiser, and so the winner of that was Zach G from Cincinnati. Thank you, Zach G, for tuning in from Cincinnati. Big
All
props.
right,
Whoop,
Zach.
whoop.
You're going to love it.
You're gonna love it. I've tested this one myself. It's a great device. You're gonna love the audio. So congratulations, Zach. Thanks for tuning in. We love to hear from you. And if you want to have something on this stream a topic that you really care about or want to know more about, send us a tweet if you're on one of the other platforms, or follow us, like us. Go ahead, send us an inquiry. If you're on Amazon, you can do that through the app on your mobile device. If you've ordered from us in the past, go back to one of your previous orders and it'll say contact seller, and it will send an email directly to one of our folks that love to support. We're passionate about what we sell, so we want to help you get what you need. We want to help you sound good, and if you sound better, you will sound better. You will sounding good. You will sell better. That's what we believe. So, Dave, any parting words?
Parting words, enjoy the weekend coming up for those that are watching us live. If not, enjoy your afternoon and your days for today and in the future.
All right. Thank you. That sounds awesome. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in this. Watch for next week. We'll be coming back to you live Fridays at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.